We sailed on the Norwegian Joy and have some opinions.
Strong ones.
Find out what we loved and what we didn't today on This Happy Place.
Hi, friends.
We are back with Norwegian Joy content.
Go figure.
It's been a few months, but we did sail on the Norwegian Joy in October of 2023. We never got around to making our what we loved and what we didn't love video because we had a ton of other vacation content coming out. But
we've had some time to think about it.
Yeah.
And compile our thoughts and bring them to you so you can decide if these are make it or break it type things for you if you're considering the Norwegian Joy.
If you haven't watched that series yet, the entire playlist will be down below. It's 3 vlogs and our tips and tricks for the Joy and an entire cruise ship tour. So make sure you check that out and subscribe because you never know when we're going to be on a Norwegian ship again.
Well, so that we can end on a good note, let's start with the things that we maybe didn't love so much.
Yeah.
Number 1. The app.
The app and the internet in general on the Joy for our sailing to Bermuda was bad.
And I don't want you to think this is inclusive of all Norwegian ships because we also sailed on the Encore and it wasn't as bad.
No.
Wasn't great, but wasn't as bad. But on the Joy, my goodness.
Oh, it just cut out all of the time.
It stopped working. The like count, if you had the free at sea package and you got like so much internet time free, it just would start counting the moment you open the app and then keep counting. I saw so many people have to go to guest services or the little internet kiosk to figure out like why they were already out of internet when they had never used it.
And it was hard to access that the minutes you got with the free XC package and
the messenger.
Oh yes, we paid for the messenger because we traveled with our family and it worked maybe 50% of the time.
Yep. You just wouldn't be able to send a message or people wouldn't be able to receive it. So on this particular sailing on the Norwegian Joy, that was a real downside.
And that definitely was not just us because I talked to people when we were getting off the ship and they all said the same thing, just how really bad the internet was. Hopefully it's better now since that was a few months ago, but just be aware that might be the case if you're traveling on the Joy. Number 2 for what we didn't enjoy so much. In general, we found that the ship felt very understaffed, that at peak times during the day, they'd have one bartender at these giant bars with 20 guests waiting to be served. And we had to wait in very long lines for almost everything.
I'm not sure if the ratio is just off or if this was just a particularly full sailing, but I've heard similar things about the Joy from other people who have sailed, that generally the demeanor and attitude and availability of the crew members who handle the drinks and the food, your wait staff, things like that, they are lacking. Number 3 for the things that we weren't such a fan of. On this particular cruise, we felt that there was a very large lack of entertainment options, in part because the lead and their understudy for the main show on the ship injured themselves in dress rehearsal the day everyone boarded. So the main show wasn't offered at any point for the entirety of the cruise. That aside, we found that most of the other entertainment options were centered around gambling or like shopping, not real true entertainment in our opinion. Yeah,
if you looked at the Freestyle Daily and looked at everything that was happening through the day, I would say like 70% of the things on the Freestyle Daily were shopping events. And that's actually going to lead us into number 4, which is the Pushy sail style that, and I do think this is a Norwegian-wide thing.
Yes.
That Norwegian cruises aren't super expensive. You can get really good deals on them. You get that free at sea package. And I think that comes with the cost of them pushing you to buy things while you're on the ship.
You would hear announcements over the intercom about jewelry sales and like sale events going on in the ship, where on other cruise lines, it seems if there's an announcement coming on, it's about new activities coming on or a safety matter or a change in itinerary. They're not marketing things to you through the intercom.
4 or 5 times a day that they were having a super sale on diamonds in the main shop or big jackpot in the casino. That was another one too. They really want you to gamble on the Joy.
But like you said, Norwegian Cruise Line in general still has some of the best deals.
Definitely.
out there. So if you know that you're the type of person who's not going to be affected by that kind of marketing,
Yeah.
it might be a great option for you.
Yeah, we didn't buy anything.
We just found that it was a little pushy.
And number 5, this was, again, just on our experience because we took our 10-month-old son on the cruise with us. And Norwegian definitely says that they are a family cruise line, but we found that there was just not a lot of options for him. And of course, he's 10 months old. What does he need to do? But they have Guppies, which is an area for young children, and they were maybe open 2 hours.
2 hours a day. And it's really just a room with toys that you can take your very, very young children to play in. There weren't any activities or events going on in there.
And the times were not, it would be like right at dinner time.
Yeah, right at lunch or right at dinner.
Yeah, he was fine. He was 10-month-old. I don't think he was bored.
Oh, yeah. I'm sure he enjoyed it. And don't get me wrong, the people on the cruise, which we'll talk about a little bit later, were wonderful with him.
Yeah.
It's just that the entertainment options, much like for adults, we found...
we're lacking.
Lacking in the kid department.
I think if we cruise with Norwegian again, we'll definitely wait until he's a little bit older and can participate in the actual kids programs. But I don't know if I would recommend taking a baby or a toddler under 2 on a Norwegian cruise, or at least on the Joy.
Agreed.
Okay.
All right.
That's the worst. Tell us how wrong we are in the comments down below. We know you love to do that, but we're going to move on to the best because we actually did enjoy a lot of the things on the Joy.
So, enjoy on the Joy.
See what I did there?
Okay. So, redeeming qualities of the Norwegian Joy.
Yeah. Number 1.
Right. As I mentioned, the waiters, the culinary staff, everybody at any restaurant that we took our son to was just wonderful with him.
They were so great.
And not just the waiters and the waitstaff, but like the officers in charge of those departments as they walked by would like hide behind things and jump out and entertain him. It seemed like they were very interested in making sure that we were enjoying ourselves because our son was enjoying himself. And it's a tricky thing, cruising with a kid that young, and they made it that much easier.
He definitely learned how to flirt on this cruise. He had never done it before, but he would look and he'd smile and and he could differentiate between a crew member and just another guest.
Oh yeah.
He'd see them coming from a mile away and he would put that smile on.
Yep, turn on the smolder.
And it was a joy for us, and it was so nice to see that interaction, and we appreciated it a lot. Because it was stressful cruising with a baby.
Yeah. Number 2, on the topic of things that we loved about the Norwegian Joy, the guest services staff were patient, helpful, efficient. I had to go to them several times for
so many times.
Other issues that we had on the cruise, not related to guest services necessarily, especially related to like
money.
Account issues, money, the internet thing, and there was always a line. So I know there were other issues on the ship for other people besides myself.
We also had an entire port day canceled, so guest services was very busy the last few days.
There were other issues with this particular cruise and this particular ship, but despite all of that, they were some of the most helpful, efficient, patient guest services crew that I have ever worked with.
Number 3 that we loved, and I am so happy that we get to say this, is we loved the food on this cruise. We sailed on the Encore in 2021, and it was actually the second sailing back after the COVID closure, and we did not have a good experience with the food. And now I'm saying, okay, that was fair. It was a weird time.
They were figuring it out.
We were nervous getting on the Joy. I told our family that traveled with us, like, be prepared. The food might not be great. And I was proven so wrong. The food was amazing. The buffet.
Oh, yeah. We're not just talking specialty dining.
Oh, my gosh. The buffet was so good. They had so many options. Everything was delicious and fresh and hot. The specialty dining we had was really good. And I was so impressed with the food on the Joy.
And that's such a wonderful surprise. It's very counter to the direction that some other cruise lines seem to be taking their dining, where it's like the dining in the main dining areas and the complimentary dining is degrading in quality to seem to encourage people to purchase additional dining packages. Norwegian not only seems to be improving the quality of dining in their main dining areas, those complimentary options, But as part of their free at sea package, you get specialty dining.
Yeah.
I think they were really doing dining right.
We had lunch in one of the main dining rooms one of the days, and it probably was one of the best meals I've had a complimentary meal I've had on a ship. It was incredible. It was so good. So happy to say that we loved the food on the Joy.
Number 4. Unique to the Breakaway Plus class of ship in the Norwegian Cruise Line fleet is the observation lounge. For us on the Norwegian Joy, I think this was on deck 15?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's on deck 15, but the windows themselves span 2 decks going all the way up. These massive vertical windows that wrap around the entire length of the ship.
Yeah.
Or rather, wrap around the entire front of the ship, I should say. But it's a wonderful lounge. There's a bar on the Joy. There was also a little Starbucks area where you could get snacks and coffee, and a lot of the snacks were complimentary.
Yeah.
And you could just sit and lounge and watch the ocean go by.
We loved the observation lounge on the Encore too, so not surprised that we loved it on the Joy, but it's just such a nice area. And it was nice because the main front area is big and usually really busy, but if you stay on the sides, there's not as many people, and we could bring our son and kind of let him toddle in there.
Lots of space.
He wasn't in anyone's way. I do know that since we've been on the Joy, it has been refurbed, and the size of the observation lounge has been decreased.
That's true. They added some staterooms. They decreased the size of the observation lounge.
But I don't think it'll hurt it because the observation lounge was honestly huge.
It was like half the ship.
Yeah.
From the front to the other side. From one side to the other side across the front. Massive area.
But if you're going to sail on the Joy, definitely take some time to spend in there because it's worth it. And those sailing views are just wonderful. And number 5, something that we love about the Joy and about Norwegian across the entire fleet is their freestyle dining. Your main dining option, your dinner time, is not assigned to you. You can go and eat in any of the main dining rooms at any time you want within their opening hours, of course. And this is really convenient. It's so nice that you are not tied to a schedule with dinner.
It makes planning contingencies and having disruptions to your planned schedule so much more easy to deal with when you can say, well, we don't have to work around dinner. It's okay that we want to go see this game show right now. We'll just go to dinner 45 minutes later. It just helps you get the most out of your cruise. And
if you're cruising with a small child, that dinner time is important.
They know when it's dinner time.
They know, and of course you can go to the buffet, but sometimes you just want to go and sit down and have a nice dinner. And I love freestyle dining, and I really think that I wish it was offered, that style of dining was offered on other ships without you having to pay for it.
Yeah, there are options on other ships, but like you said, Norwegian seems to be the most welcoming to that style of cruising and dining.
Definitely, and I love it. And there you go. That is everything we loved and some of the things we didn't love about sailing on the Norwegian Joy.
Keep these in mind if you're considering sailing on the Norwegian Joy or any other ship in the Breakaway Plus class, or really any other Norwegian ship, as a lot of these things are applicable across the fleet.
Absolutely. We hope that this has helped you plan any future vacations on the Joy or other Norwegian ships. Make sure you're subscribed because we have more cruising content coming up in the future, and give us a thumbs up. Tell us in the comments, what do you love about Norwegian? Why do you keep going back to Norwegian? We want to hear from you.
Tell us why we're wrong too. We know you're itching to do that.
For sure. But until next time, thanks so much for watching, and stay magical. Bye. And subscribe because you never know when we're going to be on a Norwegian ship again.
Let's get started with some of the things that we...
Hello?
There was a dog in your butt.
There was a dog touching my butt. You good girl. You can't be in the video though. You didn't go on the cruise. And you can't talk. That stuff.
Bingo. Bango. Bango. Got it.
Ta-ta-ta.